Today I'm going to play Farming Simulator 19, and this is the Platinum Edition expansion that they put out this fall. I gotta say, it's the Platinum expansion for 2017, Farming Simulator 17. It actually added a new map and a new crop, sugarcane, and new equipment to do the sugarcane. So the expansion for Farming Simulator 17 was kind of a big deal. The Platinum Edition for 19 isn't really that big. It adds a bunch of new equipment from, I'm just going to call them Class, C-L-A-A-S. I don't know how you're supposed to say that. It adds new equipment from that manufacturer, but it's all the same equipment that you already have stuff for, just new, just a different manufacturer. So it's not really that big of a deal. It's not really that big of a addition. It's fine. If you were buying Farming Simulator 19 today, in 2019 or 2020, I would tell you to buy this version, because you might as well. The purpose of this video today is not to just do a let's play of Farming Simulator or show you how everything works. I'm going to show you why, if you're not a Farming Simulator fan, you'll probably have fun with this anyway, because they do a lot of things to make it fun. The most obvious of which is that there's all these mods that you can download to add stuff to the game, including new maps to play on. And these mods are made by some regular people and they get approved and put on here. And some of the mods are actually official mods made by Giant Software. But either way, they all work fine. And you can also get new vehicles, new bigger pieces of equipment, which is what I usually look for just to make it more efficient. But you can also do stuff to make the game easier or more interesting, like this government subsidy, which is basically an infinite money cheat because your idiot president started a trade war that he didn't understand how it worked and he didn't know how tariffs work. So you get government subsidies because you couldn't sell all of your crops. I would totally recommend just using that. And using any of these mods, including the ones that basically let you cheat, they don't affect trophies or achievements. One thing that I want to make note of is that I'm playing on the PlayStation 4 version, and this version doesn't have as many mods available as the Xbox One version does. I don't know why. Maybe they're easier to port to the Xbox than they are to the PlayStation. But there's significantly more stuff available in this mod hub for Xbox versus PlayStation. That's tip number one to having fun with this game. Use the mods. Download mods. Download whatever looks interesting, whatever looks fun, whatever makes the game easier. One other thing I want to note about PlayStation versus Xbox. The Xbox One version, I play on an Xbox One S. I assume the X is better. But on Xbox One S, at least, this game has pretty bad performance. When you have multiple AI workers all going at the same time, and you're trying to drive a loaded truck and deliver stuff, the frame rate just goes it's slow. I haven't noticed that quite as much on the PlayStation 4 version. I'm on a PS4 Slim. It hasn't performed quite that badly, but it definitely does still slow down. You sort of have to choose which one you want. Do you want Xbox with more mod stuff, or do you want PlayStation with potentially better performance? Or you could just get Xbox One X. But okay, here's tip number 2 to having fun with this game. You don't actually have to play it. What you do, you hire AI workers, and you can hire 6 workers at a time. And they'll do all of this boring, monotonous, tedious stuff. Because believe me, plowing and planting and harvesting and all this is really tedious and really boring. And I freaking love these games. I know that's not the ringing endorsement that they probably hope for. I'm telling you that the best thing about it is you don't have to actually play it. But that's okay, because everything else that you do have to do is enjoyable and fun. So, that's tip number 2. Use the AI workers. They make it way more enjoyable because they do all the boring stuff while you do all the fun stuff. Here is a special piece of equipment that I want to showcase. Because basically this is a mod that you have to download that deletes trees. Because normally if you want to get rid of a tree, you have to cut it down and then you have to haul off the pieces. Because if you don't haul off the pieces, it just sits in the system memory and makes the game perform worse. So you have to get rid of the trees once you cut them down. And normally, you know, you get out and you have a chainsaw and you're like, oh, bro, I'm a chainsaw. And then you have to cut it into pieces or get heavy equipment and put it on trailers and haul it off. Or you download this mod, which deletes it. So you just smash it into that. You might have to move it up and down. Oh, got rid of the tree. Now I got rid of the stump. That saves so much time. Because believe me, doing anything with trees in this game is the most tedious, annoying thing ever. Because it does have logging and there is a logging economy. But the equipment is so awkward and terrible to use. But I love this machine. It's the best mod you can possibly download. The thing about Farming Simulator is that if you want it to be a hardcore, realistic simulation, it can be. You can choose to not hire workers and you can choose not to use this modded equipment and make everything easier. You can absolutely play that way if you want. I don't especially want that though. I want to skip to the fun stuff. But that's why this game is better than all of the other Farming Simulator type games, is because they're not afraid to just get out of the way and let you have fun with it. Most of the other games lean more towards the simulation side of it and are more hardcore simulations, and they're frankly not as fun. But this is kind of a teaser for what I'll do next. This used to be like a field and hills and stuff, and I flattened it all out. And this used to be big rolling hills, but I flattened it out. And it used to be multiple fields that I just put into one huge field. Because that's the next best thing about this game, is you can kind of terraform the land however you want. In past games, you always had to use preset fields in preset areas, and buildings could only be in certain areas, and you could only do whatever the game wanted you to. In this game, Farming Simulator 19, you can do whatever you want. You can get a plow and plow new fields as long as you own the land. Because that's the other big change, is you don't... In the past games, you always just bought the field. You didn't buy the land with it, around it. But in Farming Simulator 19, you actually own the land, the property all around it. So see, all that green is where I own. And then you click it and see I could buy that land or that land. And there's not even fields on that land. But you could buy it and plow it and plant stuff and make fields literally anywhere. The third tip about how to have fun with this game. See, this is all the equipment that you can buy that's built into the game. And the mods that you download get put into those menus too. But you turn on this new menu, this sculpting menu, and now you can raise the fields, you can smooth them out, you can... See, look at how much I'm changing it. That's a bad thing though. I don't want to do that. You can flatten it back out. But using this costs tons and tons of money. Your, in-game money. So you have to sort of be careful about it. But see, I just did all that. Now let's smooth it. So now I'm smoothing it so there's a smoother transition between, the big cliffs that I just created and the flat bottom of this. But I don't know. Let's go look at what we just did. See, this is all flat now. And we could, we have to buy a plow and actually plow this ground, but what used to be a fairly small field, you can turn into a big field if you want. But see, you can smooth this out and make it like a smooth transition, and you could build sick ramps and racetracks and do whatever the heck you wanted. Wouldn't that be weird? Wouldn't that be funny? I think that'd be super funny. To me, that's the most significant thing about this game that makes it better than its predecessors, is the fact that it gives you the freedom to buy land and then change the land and do whatever you want with it. See if I can go get over there and hit this at full speed. Oh no! This has really slow acceleration. We'll see what happens. Might be too steep. Yeah, it was kind of too steep. But man, can you imagine if that was a smooth ramp? You'd fly all the way over into this other farm. That would be sick awesome. On Xbox, this field, I extended it all the way up here. So I had to cut down all those trees. And there's 3 fields over here that I combined into one huge one. Well, not huge, but... but I combined these 3 fields. And I had to use the terraforming tool to kind of smooth it out, because the tools don't like... all of your equipment doesn't really like sharp angles and weird transition. So I had to smooth this all out and plow it. It was fun. It was enjoyable. In past games, you could have animals and stuff, but it was always at preset locations where you could put the animals. But in this game, you can just put animal pens wherever you want. So that's what I have here. I don't have any animals yet, but that's a sheep pen. Over here is going to be chickens. Over here is going to be pigs. You can also have horses and you can have cows, and they're all just going to kind of go wherever I want to put them. This game gives you so much more freedom to play it however you want and do whatever you want that is going to be fun. When I was a kid, I always loved playing with Tonka trucks out in the dirt. And this game sort of lets me relive my childhood of just goofing off and playing in the dirt with heavy equipment. I love it. I really, really, really do. This end of my farming of my land, I just planted grass everywhere because the cows need grass and the sheep need grass. And you can turn the grass and dry it out and turn it into hay, and the cows need hay. So I have one whole end of my farm is all just grass for the animals. And this is wheat, and it leaves behind straw that you pick up because the cows and the pigs need straw. And the chicken eat the wheat. So it's fun. There's just a bazillion things to do. Once you get a big farm where you're spread all over the map, you're busy enough just delivering stuff, just moving your equipment between fields and then hiring help, that it's still fun even if you're paying somebody else to do the hard stuff. I'll admit that it's kind of overwhelming when you first try to start playing if you don't know what any of this stuff does. But the game has a fairly good tutorial. There's one mode that you can play that's just all a tutorial that just tells you how to do everything. Or you can go into menu to this help section. And it tells you how to plant stuff and how to harvest and how to raise animals and all sorts of stuff. So if you're overwhelmed or you don't know how to do stuff, well, you just go look in here. The most significant and important thing that this game does that makes it more fun and makes it more accessible is the sheer amount of settings and options that it has. So you can change the economy to where it's easier or harder. And actually in this game, it's the hardest economy that they've ever made. It's tough to kind of stay above water, but I guess that's realistic for farming. Even when you set it on easy, it's tough. You can turn the AI traffic on or off, which is useful because they get in the way a lot. You can change the way fuel is used. You can change whether your AI helpers, the people that you hire, will just automatically buy seeds or buy fertilizer or buy stuff without you having to haul it all over the place. That's really, really useful. You can change how fast or slow the plants that you plant grow. Because obviously, if you plant stuff and it grows fast, you make money faster. And it makes the game more interesting because you're more engaged. Because you constantly are replanting fields and hauling stuff away. And these are the important ones. Because plants will wither and die if you don't harvest them fast enough, and then you don't get as much yield. This game actually also has crop destruction, where if you drive through a field, the wheels kill those plants underneath the wheels, so you have to be careful. It also has options for whether you have to plow once in a while instead of just replanting in the same field, whether you need lime to add to your field, whether you need to fertilize multiple times to get the most yield, whether your field will have weeds or not. That's a whole nother section of equipment. Is you have to pull a weeder behind your tractor to yank the weeds out and not damage your crops. That's insane that there's so much depth and detail if you want it, but you don't have to. That's the best part. Changing how fast stuff grows, changing how often you have to fertilize, or if at all, or how often you have to plow, if at all. It makes the game easier and more accessible. It gets the tedious, boring stuff out of the way and just lets you do the fun part. And the fun part is driving the equipment. It's expanding your farm and making new fields. It's tending to your animals. It's delivering your crops when they're ready and making money so that you can buy new equipment. It is monotonous and it is kind of tedious and it takes hours to do stuff, but it's fun. I freaking love these games. Another nice thing about this game, obviously, is that it has real equipment. Although a lot of it is European-based stuff that Americans probably don't recognize. I know I certainly don't. So they're all like, oh, our big expansion this year is this this company from Europe you've never heard of. And you're just like, huh? But one of the big additions this year was John Deere equipment. The past few games haven't had that. And obviously John Deere is recognizable and everybody knows them. But there's John Deere and Case and New Holland, all sorts of stuff. Along with the new class equipment that they added in the expansion. So if you care about real equipment, well, you're satisfied. If you don't care, well, you have lots of different colors to choose from. That's about how I consider it. Because I guess that's something I should clarify is I'm not a farmer. My family aren't farmers. My grandparents were, but my parents weren't. So why do I like these games so much? I don't know. I like them because it's like an RPG, but realistic. It's satisfying and fun. And there are trains in the game, we just haven't seen any. But I don't know, I kind of like them because they're tedious and monotonous. You can just play them and sort of turn your brain off and just play for 2-3 hours at a time and not really notice it. Which I think is a good thing. Somewhere in here is a tree stump that I can't get to get rid of. And it won't let me flatten it as long as there's a tree in there. So, be careful how you're doing stuff, kids. You might end up with stupid looking monolith. I hope that in this video I've at least convinced some of you that playing Farming Simulator is fun. Because it's not as dry and bland as boring as you probably think it is. And especially Farming Simulator 19 lets you change so much and customize so much and play it however you want to, that it makes it fun. Well, this side isn't as smooth, so it's probably just going to hit it. Yeah. Oh, jeez. I think it'd be okay on this other side, though. Let's see. Oh, sick jumps! Sick jumps! Woo! Oh, yes. Farming Simulator! But we're all good. But this was Eric vs. 365, where I'm playing a different game every day for a year. Be sure to check out psxboxindies.com for daily blogs about the games that we're playing and the videos we're making. Thanks for watching.